As a motivational application for what we're going to learn today, we want to think about the entry of Walmart into a given city. Is that entry of Walmart going to be good or bad for the businesses and consumers of that city? And so I have a couple of headlines here from some newspapers just to motivate this, right? And on here, this is saying the cities and the coming of the Walmart invasion. The world's biggest retailer wants to build stores in urban areas. That's good for cities, but they need to be careful. Then down in this one here, we have Walmart is still being banned from one of the world's biggest cities. But oddly, Target isn't. The world's largest retailer still gets no love from New York City, not from the mayor, the unions, or some consumers. So this was back in 2017, where New York City was banning the entry of Walmart, but we were allowing other big box retailers to come in, like Target. All right. And down here in this one from this article in 2023, what it really costs when Walmart comes to town. How much does Walmart cost a local economy? One researcher working for a local community group says it's a lot if you live in a town that already has all the stores it needs, right? And so what I'm using this for is like, is Walmart entering a city good or bad? Is it good for whom and bad for whom? So who are the winners and losers? And so in this section here, we're going to think about a way as economists where we want to think about how do we weigh these costs and benefits to figure out is a decision good or bad. So in this section about welfare and efficiency, one way you can think about the types of questions we're going to answer with these tools will be who benefits and who loses from policy X, and is that policy X overall beneficial to the society as a whole? Right? What we're going to be doing is first we'll think about how to evaluate public policies using the ideas of economic efficiency, which I'll define later. Then we'll learn how to measure economic surplus and talk about market efficiency and then market failures and deadweight losses when markets won't allocate things very well. So to start off, how do we want to evaluate public policies? We want to conduct our policy analysis in two distinct stages. First, we want to do what's called positive analysis. Positive analysis is describing what is happening. So we're explaining why or predicting what will happen. So in our Walmart application, the question would be like, what will the entry of Walmart do to average wages in the town? And so we can do this with no judgments, right? Is it good or bad? We're not to that step yet. And so what we're going to learn in this class is mainly positive analysis, right? What's Walmart going to enter doing into wages? What is it going to do to prices for consumers? What is it going to do to profits for the existing businesses, right? This is more of like an empirical question you can think about, right? Like a fact. And we're going to use economics to determine and predict what is Walmart going to do to enter in to a city. All right. The next step of the analysis will be normative analysis. This is prescribing what should happen. This is involving value judgments. This is going to be good. This is going to be bad. We should do this. We shouldn't do that. That's a normative analysis, right? And so in our application for Walmart, it would be something like, should the city approve the entry of Walmart? Yes or no, right? Because it has that should in there, mainly you think, well, they should if they think that Walmart's going to be good for this for the city. They shouldn't if they think Walmart's going to be bad for the city, right? And this inherently involves those value judgments. All right, what I want to point out is that what I'm teaching you in this class is this first one, okay? Economics and the tools of economics are good for positive analysis. What you're going to learn from a class in economics is nothing about how you should make those value judgments, right? They have to be coming from somewhere else. Like I have my own value judgments that I've gleaned along in my lifetime from different sources, and I can make, as an economist, like me as the professor, I can say like what I think should and shouldn't happen, but like I'm not going to like test you on this stuff, and you should be like careful of like a politician or an economist on TV saying, oh, we should or shouldn't do something. They're starting from like some model and empirical analysis, doing a positive analysis, and then they're jumping to normative analysis saying what you should do. Okay. Right. This stuff is still important. Like we need to make decisions on what we should do as a society through politics and the democratic system, right? But like what I'm teaching you in class, the tools, is all here in this positive analysis. But we still need a way to judge policy or market outcomes. So the idea is a market's going to allocate through supply and demand, and we'll get a quantity and a price in a market for, say, electric vehicles or corn or oil. And we want to determine, we want to judge, right? Is this market outcome good or bad? The way that economists have chosen to do this is called by using economic surplus, right? So economic surplus will be the total benefits minus the total costs flowing from a decision. Right. And so we want to think, as long as the total benefits are greater than the total cost of a decision, we have positive economic surplus. Right. You might think that we want to get more and more and more economic surplus. So the more economic surplus you get, the better that market outcome will be. Okay. And if that's what we're going to use, we call that the efficiency criterion. Right. The more economic surplus that's generated, the more efficient the outcome. Right? And so if we're going to rank outcomes or rank policies, whatever policy gives us the highest economic surplus, that has more efficiency, right? Using this efficiency criterion. And now when we say the efficient outcome, this is going to be the best one, right? Whatever outcome or policy leads the largest possible economic surplus, we've maximized economic surplus here, then we call that the efficient outcome, okay? Right. So one way to judge policy or market outcomes is to use this efficiency criterion, and then we say that whatever one is the best, and what we would say is whatever yields us the largest economic surplus, that's efficient, and that's going to be the best one in one sense. Okay. Now you don't have to use the efficiency criterion. We're going to use that in this class. But other people might want to use a different efficiency criterion. For one example of why you might want to also include some other criterion, let's think about how a policy affects overall welfare or surplus of the society, right? There's this trade-off between efficiency and equity. So what we have here in efficiency criterion that has nothing to do with equity. So think fairness of distribution or how we split the pie or share the pie. Efficiency, really, you can think of it as we're trying to get the pie as big as possible, right? That surplus pie. If you get it as big as possible, that's going to be efficient. Okay, that's the efficiency criterion. That's the only thing the efficiency criterion cares about. You could have the biggest pie possible and only one person gets it. No one else gets anything. That's fine by the efficiency criterion, right? The efficiency criterion does not care about equity or the fairness of the distribution. So you might prefer, I'm not saying you have to, but when you can think that someone might prefer a little bit smaller pie that's more fairly distributed where everyone gets something a little bit more equal, all right, that might be a better outcome, okay? Now, what I want to point out, whenever we talk about efficiency, the rest of the course, we're mainly going to focus on this one, efficiency criterion. Again, it has nothing to do with fairness. You're just getting the size of that pie as big as possible.